So in a tiny house, you always have to worry about where you're going to put stuff. So I kind of had to clean my porch off yesterday, and Tim bought me these two pieces for this rack. And these are just 2x4s I had sitting on the porch. These 2x4s were actually used to frame up our heater inside. So they do have screw holes, so you can screw those in and stabilize it a little bit more. But this is what where I'm gonna keep my wood. This wood is just a tiny bit too long because this is made for the wood heaters up at our barn and in the shop. So, but I'm gonna use them today. I have a couple of pieces. This one's short enough, and this one may be. So we're gonna use these to show you how we light the heater. And I hope to have this rack full in another couple of weeks for my wintertime heating of this house. And it probably won't last for the whole winter, but we're going to try to figure out how much wood it's going to take to go through a normal winter. So I'm going to count how many times I have to fill this. So here's a couple of pieces we'll bring in. Here. And this is my lighting. So you can get these fire starters at Lowe's, and these light very well. And so I've been using both. These are also fire starters that come from our property. So these smell like turpentine, and I forget what they call them. I always forget the name. But anyway, these smell like turpentine, and I think it comes from a tree, a pine tree, that's been cut. The sapwood sucks up this turpentine into this middle of these trees, and you can go out and find it and cut it. And there you have something to light the heater with. So we have this, because that can help me reach down inside. And then I have my lighter. And so here's my little sticks to get started. So, put these here. And these are big, and so I only use a piece. You can use a third to a half of one of these. So these kind of smell like lighter fluid. So I break a piece off like that. All right, and so we're going to probably do something different with this top because it doesn't look all that attractive and pretty, but these are fire bricks. And so they turn black underneath, and so my hands can get kind of dirty. But you can make different ways to open and close, and you want to be able to adjust the opening as much as possible when you're building a fire. Because sometimes you need it all the way open, or you only need it part way open. So this is part of the heater. The idea of this heater is, the main component of it is the J-tube. So you have a 1 foot section that you feed the wood in, and then you have a 2 foot section that is the firebox, and then you have a 3 foot section that comes up in this barrel that's inside. So it's a J-tube. 1, 2, 3 is the formula. And you have it that way so that it draws properly. So that, the fire doesn't come smoking out this way, but it goes up and around this way. And it comes up into here. That 3 foot section is probably up about here. And then the heat kind of goes down, and it comes, it gets drawn into a hole that's right here, and some tubes that go down the bench. There's a T at the end, and then it comes back up this way to this pipe. Then it comes up here and goes out. And when you put your hand on outside on top, it is just warm. It is not hot. So you're getting most of the heat is in the house and not going out the flue. The other big benefit of the way this burns is so hot down in this firebox area, like up to 1,000 degrees it can be, that it burns very clean. So there's no soot, or very, very little soot, and there's not any creosote that's actually left behind. So, and that reduces your risk of fire, cleaning it every year, and that kind of thing, because it burns so well. So this is probably the most soot you're going to see, which is right here, just from, starting your fires up this way. So I'm going to show, let me get a light so we can see it better. So you might want to point the camera down in the hole so you can see. Yep. And I'm going to put the wood in there. And Chris said put it about a 1/4 inch apart. So you stack it and lean it kind of like these thin pieces of starter wood close together. And these are very, very dry. So I need a couple more. Yep, and then you put this one in there. So you lean them slightly and fairly close together. Now it's not real cold in here, and hopefully this is going to draw like we want it to, because it does matter what the temperature is outside. But so we could have an issue, but we're going to try to make sure. We did this the day he was here, and it was not very cold outside then either. I always struggle. Hold on, let me do this. There we go. So this lights really fast. That's how fast. And it doesn't go out. This one doesn't light as fast. But it lights as well. So I usually use both just because I'm still learning. See, that one goes out when I put it down. Got to get it started better. Okay, so that'll probably do. And I stick it down in there. And I drop that one in. So, and I can pull these a little closer. Like that, and I'll put this a little closer to them so they'll light. There we go. And see, you can tell that flame is drawing the way it's supposed to towards the firebox. It's not smoking up in this direction. And my little flint wood went out, but I'm going to put it down here because it'll help. There we go. It'll help light up the other wood. So what we want is we want all these little pieces of wood to light. And that's it. That's how long it takes. But we're going to watch it so you can see that everything gets lit. Oops. We got some wind. So that's going to... See now? I put that down. The wind blew outside and it made a little bit of smoke come up this way. So... Oops, it's doing it again. So that's the issue with the wind outside. Sometimes you have to make this warm, so it's going to smoke a little bit. Let's see if we can... it's coming up in the house. And that's because of the... because we're not on a cold day. Let's see if it'll go... All right, sometimes when you have the temperature differential incorrectly, you can put a little bit of heat up that way. Let's see if I can do that. Put it right here. Ah, it fell. Dang it.
Uh-oh.
Okay, let's see if it'll draw. Okay, it stopped smoking up this way. It's not really cold enough right now to be able to get this to like it normally is, but it looks like it's going to draw a little bit. So I dropped my little... Okay. On a cold morning, this is really sucking well. So I still don't totally understand the drawing effect, and that's a physics thing that I really want to learn better. And a lot of people don't quite understand fire, and how the draw works on a heater. And so, but these guys who told me about this J-tube have taught us that that's how the wood draws. So we still have our little block that I put in there. Trying to, let's see if we can get it to light. We may have to do this video on a colder day, like in the morning. Because both times I've tried to light it in the mornings, it's done great.